Welcome to the business end of the season and today's practice at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez here in Mexico. This is the first race to be held here since way back in 1992 when a certain Nigel Mansell won the world title. The drivers will have definitely put in some test laps on the simulators before they complete a lap for real here in Mexico. But they'll still need to get a feel for the real circuit versus their fancy video game back at HQ.
Well, don't be so quick to knock the advantages the simulators can give you. Years ago, you had to learn everything at the track, but now you can get comfortable with the circuit and learn what to expect long before you even turn a wheel.
Well, it's all over the back pages that Ferrari are talking to Nico Hülkenberg's agents about their man replacing Kimi Räikkönen at the Scuderia next season. Can you see that happening?
He's always done a great job wherever he's gone, and we've been expecting him to get a drive at one of the top teams now for a few seasons. He certainly deserves his chance, and it would be interesting to see what he could do with a better car.
Alright lads, so here we are for episode number 16 of the F1 2015 Career Mode Championship. This is Mexico and a brand new circuit for many of you, including myself. I've never been to this circuit in a F1 game before. I've never seen a race around here, even from the old era. So heading into this weekend, I'm sort of in the dark and I have absolutely no idea what to expect, whether it's, a high tyre wear track, whether, we need a lot of downforce, whatnot. So coming into this race weekend, I wanted to do a lot of laps before heading into qualifying because I just wanted to know the ins and outs of the circuit before really getting into the serious sessions. And as you can see, I made a few little mistakes here and there, just trying to, push the boundaries heading into those crucial qualifying sessions, because now only 3 races left to go. I can't afford to have any more bad qualifying sessions like we've had in the previous few races. Like you look at Austin, Texas, we qualified down in P6. Just at this phase of the championship, that's not good enough. We need to be on the front 2 rows if we really want to challenge Mercedes for this driver's title. Now, here we are in practice. We've done already 6 laps. We're into the 1 minute 20.5s. Early on, I got the gist that the Williams was fairly good through the slow speed corners. I was actually struggling quite a bit through the middle sector, and that showed quite a bit in the sector time. So I initially went off with 4-1 wings, and then I think after I did about 5 or so laps, I switched it up to 6-1 wings. And at the end of the session, we ended up in P4. So not too bad, and even considering Massa got P2, I think the Williams is really good around this track.
Not long now until the lights go green for the Mexico Grand Prix qualifying. So let's get ready and see who has that pole position winning performance in them this afternoon. Today's qualifying should be an interesting affair as the drivers try to put in their best laps on this fascinating circuit.
It's difficult to predict who's going to master this circuit when it really matters. This 4.4 kilometre track will certainly provide a mix of challenges to both the drivers and their cars. I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to come out on top.
Well, I don't think it's going to be Alonso, that's for sure, but here we are in qualifying. About halfway through the session, we've already done 1 run, straight into the 19s on option tyres, so I was very happy with that. I believe the Mercedes were something like mid-19s as well, but that was on prime tyres. So, our lap times, they're okay at the moment, but we need to go out again just to really confirm that we can get on the front 2 rows of this grid here in Mexico. So, early on the weekend, the track was quite green. There's not been a whole lot of running on this circuit since I don't believe any racing goes on at this circuit apart from this F1 weekend. So gradually you'll see the track get faster and faster as more rubber gets laid down on the circuit. So track evolution is going to be a big thing here in Mexico. But coming out of the final corner, will we get P1 in this session? Yes, we do, by 4 tenths. That is exactly what we needed heading into tomorrow's race.
Well, what a way to end today's session. It's Valtteri Bottas on pole for tomorrow's race. A great result for the Finnish driver.
He's really been able to connect all the dots on that lap. It was just inch perfect. What a performance. And will definitely be the driver to beat on Sunday.
The crowd are ready for today's action, and we hope you're ready to see the world's best drivers fighting it out for the race win. It's time for the Mexican Grand Prix. Williams made good use of the extra horsepower in their Mercedes power unit yesterday as Valtteri Bottas ended up in pole position for today's race.
After yesterday's qualifying performance, I think he has every chance of going on to win today. He really was a cut above the rest of the field, and if he brings the same level of speed, he shouldn't have any problems winning the race.
Daniel Kvyat will hope that the DRS problems that he suffered earlier in the weekend are now behind him. Otherwise, it could be a very long Grand Prix for him today.
There was a scary point when it came open just before turn 6, and Daniel was lucky to catch the car, or he could have been a passenger heading towards the barriers. The team have said they've since resolved the issue, so hopefully he'll be fine today.
So problems for both Red Bulls and heading into the race, with Daniel Kvyat having DRS failure opening in the middle of a high-speed corner, and then I saw Daniel Ricciardo getting a grid penalty starting from last place. The race strategy is a 3-stop, so it's looking like Mexico is probably a high tyre wear type track, but since I haven't done this race before, I really need to trust that the engineer has given me the right strategy. But away we go here for the Mexican Grand Prix. Used about half throttle there to try and get a better start. It looks like it hasn't worked though. Hamilton takes the lead already before we've even got to turn 1. It's such a long run, this pit straight here. It allows for the AI to gain a lot of time, making ever so slight contact with Hamilton just before we break into turn 1. Going around the outside of Rosberg, and we're back into P2. So very interesting start to this Mexican Grand Prix. Not ideal. I did not want to lose the lead to Hamilton of all cars in this F1 field, but we're going to try and chase him down as we head into this middle sector of this Grand Prix. I've got to say, I'm fairly quick through the first and sort of the slow corners in the middle sector, but then we get to the high-speed stuff, and that's where I lose out to the likes of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. So lap 3, the DRS is now enabled for Nico Rosberg. He's going to sneak it up the inside now into turn 1. We try and squeeze him out there, but he outbrakes us through turn 1. But we've just got superior grip for some reason, and we take him clean around the outside, back into P2 as we lose the back end there on the exit of turn 3. Now on the next lap we can see Nico Rosberg is on the attack once again with DRS. It's almost impossible to defend from the Mercedes when they've got DRS on us, but we go around the outside once again. This seems to be a very good corner for us here in Mexico. We maintain P2. Still on lap 5 we have second place, but on the straight here we're lowering the front wing in order to give us a bit more straight line speed. That's going to be changed in the next pit stop, so we might see a slightly slower stop, but hopefully we can be a little bit more threatening on the straights and hopefully keep Rosberg behind us, because at the moment it just feels like I'm a McLaren Honda when trying to defend from those Mercedes. But in for the pit stop now on lap 8, or what was lap 8. We're going on to another set of option tyres, and we're going to repeat this for another stop I believe, and come in for primes at the very end of the race. But after that pit stop phase, we're actually a lot closer to Hamilton. I believe he got a slightly slower pit. My engineer, honestly, it feels like he's talking so much. I don't know if you can hear the game sound, but the engineer just would not shut up. But anyway, this phase of the Grand Prix, we were very quick and we started to catch up Lewis Hamilton. So it seems like early on, when the tyres are fresh, we are the fastest car on the field, but we've got to watch out for tyre wear, because the tyres really do go off very quickly around this track. But going up the inside of Lewis, he leaves the space on the inside, and now it turns to the outside through the middle sector, and now we've taken the lead of the Grand Prix. So that almost came out of nowhere. I was not really in the same league as Lewis through the first stint of the race, but as you can see on the replay here, this is on board Lewis. We got the inside on the left hand side, and then he leaves a space on the outside, and we just have so much traction through slow speed corners. It was ridiculous. We just sailed past him and into the lead of the race. So very interesting scenes here in the Mexican Grand Prix. What can we do now that we've got clean air? Hamilton is very good coming off that final corner. And as you can see, he's passed us before we even get to the finish line. So Hamilton is very OP coming off that final corner. That's something we're going to need to work on over the course of this race. But there's not too much I can do, really. I just get on the power as early as I can. But going around the outside of Hamilton into turn 1 and back into the lead of this race. This DRS straight is sort of what keeps Hamilton in the game here. I feel like I'm faster than him right throughout the circuit, but then he just comes out of nowhere and overtakes me every time on this straight, squeezing him to the right-hand side. Lost the back end there on the braking zone through turn 1, and as you can see on the replay from Hamilton's perspective, yeah, did I get that right? I think I did. He's right up against the white line there, trying to crowd him out into backing out, but he stays in it there. But still, we maintain the lead of this race. Now lap 16, Hamilton going up the inside into the stadium section. And this was a part of the Grand Prix where the tyres were really starting to go off. I believe we're coming in at the end of this lap, having to just about park the bus now, such is the tyre wear in this middle stint. I actually thought it was worse than what it was in the first stint. But now we're coming into the pits, and I believe Vettel, who was about 4 or 5 seconds up the road at the start of the stint, he's actually managed to close the gap, and he was right behind us coming into the pits here. So second pit stop of the race, one more to go after this one. We had to hold there for Vettel, who was getting his service there. So we've lost the lead of the Grand Prix to Lewis Hamilton, thanks to Vettel there. So very, very frustrating there that we don't have the lead at the early phase of a tyre stint, because as I said before in the previous stint, we are actually the fastest when we've got new tyres on. But going up the inside of Hamilton much earlier in the stint this time, and now we have the lead of the race. Hopefully this time we can break away from that 1 second DRS window before the tyre wear kicks in. But no, lap 20, Lewis is back on the attack up the inside. He squeezes through the tightest of gaps there, right up against the white line. But he's into the lead of the Grand Prix once again. Are we going to do the traditional move around the outside? Yes, we can. And back into the lead of this race. So only 14 laps left in this Grand Prix. The lap cars we can see we're starting to catch up to. So that's going to add an extra element into this race. You know, how well we negotiate those guys. But Hamilton trying to hold around the outside. Had a glance back just to see if we cleared him. Yes, we did. But yeah, this race for the lead is just so intense right now. I can't explain. I wish I was doing a live comp so you guys could understand like the emotion I was going through during this race, because we are battling for the lead of this race, not only for this Grand Prix but also for the championship as well. So if we can beat Hamilton today, then that's going to go a long way towards closing the gap down to him in the championship. So lap 22, I believe we're coming in about 2 laps time for a set of prime tyres, and I'm eager to see how we fare on those compounder tyres, because we just get absolutely smashed for tyre wear on the option tyres. You know, early on we're so quick, but then after like 4 laps, you know, we've got nothing, and Hamilton is all over us again. So up the inside he goes. Looks like Grosjean now, the lap car, is trying to get involved. I had to move to the inside, or to the left-hand side, to block him off. Hamilton brakes later into turn 1, but we still hold it around the outside there. So yeah, so lucky that turn 1 was a really good corner for us. Otherwise, you know, we would have lost a lot more positions today, because the AI seemed to be very, I don't know, tentative into turn 1, and I'm just trying to use that to my advantage. So lap 24, the end of lap 24, we came in for a set of prime tyres, and I've got to say, Lewis Hamilton's strategy today is really on point. He's trying to go for the undercut, just like I am, as soon as we can get on the new tyres, and that's exactly what we're doing, because surprisingly the tyre wear was so harsh around this track. It was quite remarkable to see the difference between a new tyre versus an old tyre. But lap 28, we're trying to extend the gap to Lewis Hamilton, and for the first time this race we actually rejoined in the lead after a pit stop. So we used the new sort of rubber from the tyre to really pull away and break that 1 second DRS window, and once we did that, I felt like we were pretty much in control of this race. We were able to extend the gap. The lap cars probably helped me out a little bit. Hamilton probably got held up a little bit more than what I did. Speaking of getting held up, Marcus Ericsson, that's not the place to be letting the leader through. But anyway, lap 33, we're catching up to the back. Oh, Jenson Button, how bad would he feel seeing me fly past him at a great rate of knots? But yeah, after that, it seems like the prime tyres really held out fairly well for tyre wear, and that was a welcome relief for me, because it allowed me to pull away from Hamilton. And finally here on the final lap, it doesn't look like Hamilton is going to challenge us here as we go through the final corner. We're going to win the Mexican Grand Prix, the first time anyone has won around this track in the modern era of F1.
Well done to Valtteri Bottas, who's won today's race. Congratulations to him and the Williams team for a fantastic performance.
You can't fault their commitment today. They really pushed hard and were rewarded with a race win. Fantastic achievement.
It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Until next time though, goodbye.
So there we go, lads. We have won the Mexican Grand Prix. The first time that anyone has won around this circuit in the modern era of F1. 4 seconds was the difference to Lewis Hamilton. Nico Rosberg dropped off the pace after the first stint. He was right in the mix, and then for whatever reason, he just finished nowhere in that race. Early on, I saw one of the Ferraris get stacked behind Vettel, so that was a little bit disappointing for Raikkonen. It was definitely not a day for the number 2 drivers, that's for sure, but in terms of the drivers' standings, we've now closed the gap to Lewis Hamilton to now 23 points. So that was a very crucial win for us. We need to continue to win the final 2 races to be in with any chance of winning this driver's title. We need something to happen to Lewis Hamilton as well in one of these races, because if we win the final 2 races and Hamilton finishes on the podium, then we're only going to close by 20 points, and that's still not enough to win the title. So it's going to be an interesting final 2 races, but at least we're in the top 2. That's a lot better than what I was expecting coming into this season. But that's been this episode for today, the Mexican Grand Prix. The next episode will be in Brazil, and one of my personal favorites as well. So stay tuned for that. And until my next video, guys, I'll see you next time.